Hi, and thank you for joining me in another episode of Chat Sports Talk. My name's Chad, and we dive in the world of sports. Now, today's episode, I'm going to discuss relocations, some possible relocation franchises that could be happening to the four major leagues within the next coming 10 years or so. Now, it's going to be about six franchises I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go from number six, which probably the first distance away that may not happen, and to the ones that will probably you'll see moving very, very soon. At this time, let me know what you think so far of my content, and let me know what you want to see next or what you want me to talk about. I got plenty of ideas floating around this old head of mine that I would love to share with you all. So just comment below, hit like, and subscribe, and let's begin our journey. First one I want to talk about that possibly happens: the Memphis Grizzlies. Now their lease doesn't expire to 2027, and they have a bunch of little sub clauses in there that makes it really expensive for the owner to move that franchise out. Another reason why I mentioned Memphis is that any downplay to the city of Memphis, their fan base, or their organization whatsoever. It is definitely one of the smallest markets in the NBA, and there are bigger markets out there that to bring in more money to the NBA, and then possibly more fans to the game. But right now, I don't see Memphis going. I think Memphis is a great spot for the NBA to be in, and for them to move out of Memphis would just be a tragedy. Now, number five on my list is another team in the NBA further down the river. The New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the Benson family owns the Pelicans and the Saints, but unfortunately, the Pelicans are losing them money. And right now, their lease doesn't expire to 2024. So, seeing them possibly getting sold off and move somewhere else could be a possibility. Um, so I'm not, not entirely sure. But there's been a lot of talk about them moving up to Seattle. I mean, Seattle got their hearts ripped out of them when the NBA let the Supersonics leave for Oklahoma City and be rebranded the Thunder. They've been screaming for a new franchise. And thanks to the NHL, they're getting a revamped stadium, state of the art. So it's about time for Seattle to rejoin the NBA. Now, will it be the Pelicans or something else? That's still up in the air. I'm not sure the Pelicans will move to Seattle. I think Seattle will get a different franchise, and I think that's going to be talked in a different episode I got coming. So, seeing them move, I can see them going up to Kansas City as a possibility, or even Louisville, Kentucky, and their digs. I mean, and be rebranded the Kentucky Colonels like they tried to do when the Vancouver Grizzlies moved out to Memphis. Louisville, Kentucky was on top of that list, and be branded the Kentucky Colonels. No, it's not because of KFC. It's the actual title you could earn from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Kansas City built a brand new arena to attract the franchise for either NHL and NBA, and they got neither. They tried to get the Penguins. That fell through. So, I mean, if the Pelicans move, I'll probably see them go up to Kansas City. But as of right now, I don't see any indications that they will move either. I think New Orleans kind of needs another franchise in there to kind of help that fan base, kind of help them recover during, especially because recent storms, and it kind of gives them something to come around. Especially the Saints, draws the huge crowd, and everyone's been behind them since '66. But the Saints or the Pelicans is another franchise for them. And number four on my list is one's kind of came out of left field, really, and that is the Buffalo Bills. And their owner has threatened to move the Buffalo Bills to Austin, Texas. Let's just let that sink in for a minute. Buffalo Bills to Austin, Texas. The Texas Bills, the Austin Bills. I mean, I really don't see that going. I don't see the Bills Mafia letting that one kind of happen. And right now, their lease doesn't expire to 2023, and they really want a new stadium. And I get that. It's I think it's feasible for them to get one there out there in Western New York. But if you're starting to move, why go to Austin? I get state of Texas with the tax laws where they're situated, great, advantageous for them. Austin's pretty much an untapped market right now. Major League Soccer recently put FC Austin, and it's been quite successful in attendance. So I can see why the draw is there because it's an untapped resource and it's a growing city. But there's other cities out there that deserve it more than Austin, Texas. You got two cities that got their franchises ripped from them that deserve it more. That's right, St. Louis and San Diego. San Antonio deserves it more. They got the Alamo Dome there. They built that to attract an NFL franchise. They tried to attract the Oilers. Try to get the Rams. Why not move there? Birmingham, Alabama. I mean, yeah, you'd be fighting with the Crimson Tide for a fan base, but you have nothing in the Deep South. Why not put one in Birmingham, Alabama? Portland, Oregon. I mean, that way you get another rival up there for Seattle. You get two in the Pacific Northwest. Makes sense too. But like I said, I mean, nothing against Austin. I'm trying to torch anyone from there. But I'm just saying there's other cities that kind of deserve it more than the city of Austin. But also mention that the Bills Mafia will not let this franchise go. That those are the most dedicated fans that I've known. And they'll make sure that Bills will stay in Western New York. And right now, the Bills are flying high, so you better not let them go. Next one on my list is one that their lease hasn't expired to 2027, but has been mentioned quite a bit recently, and that is the Tampa Bay Rays of Major League Baseball. In my opinion, they play one of the worst facilities I've seen for all this professional sports. This stadium was built prior to the team being awarded a franchise. They're trying to attract the San Francisco Giants from San Francisco Bay to Tampa Bay, which got blocked by Major League Baseball. They turned around and sued them. Won the suit saying the next time Major League Baseball expands, they will get a franchise. Thus, when they did expand, then you got the Arizona Diamondbacks. You also got the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, which shortened their name just to Rays. That stadium also hosted the Tampa Bay Lightning for a time frame until their new digs were. Now they've been trying to work on some deals around the Bay Area to keep the team there, and they just stall for some reason. And they just kind of fizzle out. I think right now because they all know the team's stuck there for a few more years, so why hurry? And so one of the things that the Rays are saying that we don't draw the fans. Now, if you watch any Tampa Bay Rays game, especially now, they're at top of the American League East, or top of the American League as well. I mean, for them to draw half a stadium, it's kind of ridiculous. Which means that they don't have either the tickets are way too high, or they don't have the fan support. It's one of the two. So they got to think of some ways to try and get some money before the end of the stadium deal and try to find a new place. They kind of proposed splitting some home games with Montreal, kind of like what the Montreal Expos did with San Juan, Puerto Rico before they moved to Washington. There's been some rumors of them kind of moving inland into Orlando. And I feel keeping the team in that Tampa Bay, Central Florida area is very advantageous to baseball. Digs help maintain a level of competitiveness with the rest of the league. And with that, kind of 3 cities come to mind that could attract the Rays if they become available. I think Charlotte, North Carolina could be one to bring in a baseball franchise into the Carolinas. Great rival with Atlanta. Montreal is another one. Putting the Expos back. They've been kind of screaming for it since they left and became the Nationals and want their team back. And number one on the list, I think everyone's kind of talking about, is Nashville, Tennessee. But one in the Music City makes sense. And, kind of help, spread that footprint in there. All right, my last 2 are part of the ones that probably will move very recent. And the first one I go over will be the Oakland Athletics. This franchise has been trying to grab a new stadium for the past 20 years and been trying and battling with the East Bay and Oakland to make that happen with no results. They tried to put a team out, move out to San Jose, and San Jose had a nice stadium design set up. San Francisco blocked it because of territorial rights. I'm like, okay. Try to put one at Fremont, no dice. Right now they got the Howard Terminal project that's stalled over how much funds the city is going to provide. This is supposed to be a jointly paid venture by both the Athletics and the city, with the Athletics paying a huge, I think last time I saw was a $1 billion price tag, and the city coming up with something like $855,000, and they're haggling over that. Now, why Oakland can't come up with a deal when San Francisco was able to get a baseball-specific stadium? The Padres were the first ones to get theirs at the time frame when the Padres were not that good. The Oakland Athletics have been always sitting on top of AL West for a long time, but yet they cannot get the digs that kind of help, expand the baseball experience there. Now, Major League Baseball has told the Athletics they are free to explore other options, to include relocations. And number one on the list in Las Vegas, which should not come as a surprise. They have become the mecca right now of all the sports leagues to try to get to and tap that market. Baseball has a long history in the city of Las Vegas, with the Pacific Coast minor league teams always drawing fans no matter what name they decide to come up with, be it the Las Vegas Stars, the 51s, or the current iteration of the Aviators. They've always seemed to draw fans out in Cashman Field. So it'd be, very lucrative for the Athletics to move out there and join their former roommates. Portland, nothing's like a distant second. It will be a great aspect. You can develop a rivalry between the Athletics and Mariners right there in the Pacific Northwest. Kind of makes sense, but like I said, they're a distant second. I think Las Vegas is hand down just going to, bring the Athletics over. And last but not least is the Arizona Coyotes of the NHL. Their lease will expire at the end of June next year, which means they'll have no place to play. They'll have no office space because City of Glendale will kick them out completely. Now, I'm kind of a fan, if you can tell. I have the Katina jersey right here when they first moved out there from Winnipeg in the early 90s and became the Phoenix Coyotes. At that time frame, a lot of people didn't think, franchises in the Sun Belt area or the southern part of the United States are going to work. Tampa Bay Lightning has 2 Stanley Cups. The Ducks have a cup. The Kings have 2 cups. The Panthers have been to Stanley Cup Finals. The Stars has a cup. I mean, even the Predators have made it to the finals. So it lets you kind of know. The only one that hasn't quite done that is Arizona, which kind of problem. Right now, they're losing money. City of Glendale's losing money right now, and the Coyotes leasing out that arena. So that's why they're kind of kicking them out. Now, where do they go? Do they go back downtown and join in with the Suns downtown? That doesn't work. That was a horrible experience. I've been to one of those games in downtown Phoenix to watch the Coyotes play, and it's just not set up for hockey. They tried to get one built in Scottsdale that went through, didn't pan out. But they got some type of training facility out there, which kind of helped. Austin Matthews, you might have heard of him. He's one of the top, NHL players in the National Hockey League, and is a star of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then, so right now they're trying to work out something with Tempe, which is on the other side of the valley of the sun, and possibly maybe a joint venture with Arizona State. That's right, Arizona State has a hockey team, people. Thanks, once apart, to the Coyotes. So, if they can work out a deal to keep them there, but the problem is they're going to be out of digs because they won't be ready anytime soon. Although maybe they kind of work out some deal with City of Glendale to kind of keep them there until Arena Tempe is finished, but I have a feeling that probably won't happen either. I have a feeling that the Coyotes are going to find themselves looking for a new home, possibly a new owner. Will probably come in, swoop in, buy them out, and Houston is right there on top of the list. The Rockets owner says he wants an NHL franchise. He placed a bid to get one, but it was beat out by Vegas. I mean, come on, it's Vegas. But Houston is a huge media market that has not been tapped yet for the NHL. And plus, you put a team in Houston, you can build an in-state rivalry with the Dallas Stars, which will help bring out more fans to the game, because City of Houston can root their Houston franchise to beat their rival City Dallas in every home game. So I really think Houston will be very advantageous, and I see that one coming a lot. I think that one's more of a lock than anything else, even though nothing's been put pen to paper whatsoever to say, hey, this is going to happen. But I have a feeling that's you're going to see the Houston Coyotes. The name Arrow's been floating around because that was the name of the World Hockey Association team they had, as well as an iteration that came into the National Hockey League before it transferred itself to the American Hockey League. And so I could see the Houston Arrows come in, which, it's a cool name. I like it. It kind of makes sense. So the Coyotes, but I kind of, favor that one a little bit. But I know another city that got popped up is Quebec. I'd love to see the Nordiques come back. That was one of the most iconic NHL jerseys that came back. You want to see a good version of it. The reverse retros of the Colorado Avalanche, even those Avalanche colors, but it's the motif of the Nordiques. So, but, putting a team out there in Quebec, which means one of the eastern teams have to move west, and none of it wants to move west. So Bettman will probably find a owner out west to keep the Coyotes in, if they move. So Houston is like my number destination. Number 2 destination is Houston. Number 3 is Houston. Oh, number 4, probably Kansas City. Kansas City, once again, that arena is built for someone there. They still have an owner. And then Portland. Trailblazers try to get the Penguins to move out there. So there's some interest to pull in the franchise there, and which will make sense. Put franchise in Portland. Then you establish that rivalry with Seattle Kraken. Establish a rivalry with the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, works in Major League Soccer with the Timbers, Sounders, and Whitecaps. Why not? But right now, I think Houston's be the number one because that's just the largest media market without a franchise at this present point in time. So just gotta give these franchises kind of a low grade of which ones kind of go. Right now an F, I go with the Bills. They're not leaving Western New York at all. At D, I kind of go with the Pelicans. I mean, it's a possibility, but that's I don't see them going. C, Memphis, but that's like a C minus. I mean, I don't really see them going either. It's just because both Memphis and New Orleans are the smallest markets. The NBA could be looking for greener pastures for those franchises. I mean, that's right now the B is the Rays. There's a high probability that this team will move. Right now, it's not going to be anytime soon. And then the A, definitely going to be the A's are up there, and A plus of the Coyotes. I think they're gone out of Phoenix metro area, looking for a new home. And like I said, I think Houston is going to be the number one destination. I think everyone's kind of got that penciled in. But I got a link to the description to all the articles about these particular franchises and the possible moves in the description below. Once again, thank you for your time here in Chat Sports Talk. Hope you're well informed, well entertained. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.